Hey everyone, Brian Fonvier here. We have a special request from the person who wrote this story. They claim this story is told in first person and based on a character in the same campaign Vale came from, and they hope that we all enjoy it as well as a little voice note. If this gets narrated, and it is right now, a gruff voice would be recommended. So, with that all out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you A Traitor's Tale, the story of Cecil Vilgerdarson.
The sun was rising in the horizon, and the watchers on the wall could slowly see the legions slowly marching towards them. They were unprepared, and no report came about this. I woke up to the sound of the city bell ringing once, a hangover headache throbbing inside my skull. Just what I needed. Probably some bandits trying to steal some food from old Farmer Mitchell. Then it rang again. Organized small force. Looks like today's getting better. It rang a third and final time. Army. I sat up in bed a little too fast and slipped into my shoes. Fortunately, I was too shit-faced last night to change into my nighties. So I took a big swig of water and walked out of the barracks, grabbing my belt and securing it as I made my way to the courtyard. Pistol on hips, sunlight on my face. Truly, the sun is f***ing with me today.
"Soldiers of Affenheim!"
Lord Black exclaims.
"We are caught off guard. We have an army of 10,000 men approaching from the east. They carry the flag of Renault and of the Bloodfang. We have to prepare to defend the city."
Sir, what about the Bloodfang in the city?
The man beside me asked. James something or another. Fresh-faced, too young and idealistic for this life. Maybe he will survive long enough to know the truth about battle.
Sir,
a young pretty lady stepped forward. A spy.
Their buildings have been wiped clean. They've abandoned the city.
"Son of a bitch!"
Lord Black spat.
At least we don't have to worry about sabotage."
He seemed frustrated, constipated, and pissed off all at once.
"Prepare for battle. Prepare for death. Prepare for honor."
Honor, sure. We told him our yes sirs and spread across the city to get to position. My squad was right over the eastern gate, and had the best seats in the city for the wave of black and gold armor marching towards us. We watched a rider from the approaching army, and we watched as one soldier moved unnaturally fast, cutting the rider and his horse down in 2 cuts of his sword. A woman with raven black hair. "Fuck!" Alistair said beside me, color flushing out of his face.
We can't fight against that.
No shit. That's what I wanted to say when I saw 5 people appear a few hundred feet in front of the army, facing them. 5 soldiers, including the one that cut down the rider, stepped forward to approach them. They were either too brave or too stupid. Maybe both. I watched from a distance as the 5 strangers engaged the 5 attackers, while the army slowly approached. I heard cheers when they took down one, then another, then 2 more. The army leader bitch was too fast for them until one of them, who looked like a hipster in a bathrobe, held a mirror that released a giant fist to punch her off her feet. Then the 5 disintegrated and ran into the woods between us and the army. Smartest thing they did. What was that commotion? Right outside the city walls, an army appeared out of thin air. Not something we see every day. They had the black and gold flag of Renault and a white flag beside it. Lord Black headed down to meet the army commander, who spoke out loud. "In the name of House Renault, in the name of the Vale, in the name of all the gods who watch us to this day, I, Lester Colleen, commander of the true armies of House Renault, bring you 10,000 men and women to defend your home."
I don't trust him, Alistair said in a whisper. They carry the same flag.
Doesn't matter. We can't take the coming army on our own. Not with how dangerous their leader is. That's when I see it, in the horizon. An unnaturally narrow and tall structure appeared. I would shit my pants if I had time for such a luxury. A purple portal opened up in the courtyard, and 3 forms appeared. I have heard the stories. I have heard their descriptions. I think I shit my pants a little. It was the terrible fallen paladin Ra-Adul Zoodle Zephyr, bane of the abyss and scourge on the mortal realms, with a larger, terrifying mountain of a man lumbering behind him, carrying a massive sword that might be an oversized cleaver, and a large, nimble female centaur with a massive great bow radiating an ominous, dark energy. The paladin in black armor towering over Lord Black and the Renault commander like their children looked down at them. In an otherworldly voice he slowly spoke.
I will aid you in battle.
That's fucking Zoodle Zephyr.
Alistair exclaims, drawing his attention to us. If looks could kill, we'd both be 6 feet underground.
You move to the western gate. They might strike there, where you are undermanned.
Bullshit, I say in spite of myself. They'll just march through this unprotected gate without resistance. He unsheathed his black blade, burning with an abyssal flame.
They will find this gate adequately protected.
Well, he's right. If half the stories are true, anyone facing him will not live to regret it. Lord Black nodded at us, and we move to the western gate as instructions are given out.
We need to do something about Zoodle Zephyr,
Alistair said. A couple of new recruits whose stupid names I couldn't catch yet nodded. That's stupid. Even if we wanted to, we couldn't take him, I said.
Hear me out,
Alistair said in a hushed whisper. It was annoying how he whispered half the things he said, but again, it was also annoying how dumb the other half sounds when he said it. He was looking at me.
What if we can appease the army by getting rid of him for them?
That's the fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard you say. We have our orders. This is our best shot. The wait was annoying. Hearing the kids I was stuck with conspire to kill a powerful fighter that's here to help was outright intolerable. But then I saw some soldiers approaching from the bushes outside. Enemy sighting, I said, and opened fire. Bastards were quick enough to dodge one bullet, but they could never dodge all of them. It was advanced target practice, but I managed to take down 3 of them before I had to reload. They threw some grappling hooks on the walls and started to rapidly climb. I quickly reloaded and made every shot count. They were easy pickings, but there was more of them than I could take down. They climbed the walls and started engaging the defenses. Alistair, I called out, but he wasn't around. I cursed him with every profanity my mother taught me never to say. I drew my short swords and fought like I never fought before. Those bastards were fast and clearly inhuman. But I wasn't going to die today. Not to those nameless blood-fanged bastards. Stab, slash, block, dodge. I kicked one bastard off the wall into a garden fence below. I got slashed at, my sleeve, useless. I shouted and grabbed my attacker's sword arm as he tried to slash again, breaking it. Basic training. I ran his own sword through his chest and pushed him to skewer another attacker in the back. It was chaos. I saw the red on my sleeve before the pain registered. I jumped off the wall into a large haystack underneath and brought my flask to my lips. Tasted like shit, but it should numb the pain. I poured the rest on the wound and grimaced. Alistair! I could hear the chaos everywhere. Screams of rage, of agony. The sound of steel on steel. I could smell the blood, as if the city itself was hemorrhaging. I got up and made my way across the city east, where I saw Alistair and his 2 cronies loading their pistols, their eyes fixed on Zoodle Zephyr, who had his back on them. No time for reason, no time for consideration. I picked up a pitchfork nearby and shoved it through the chest of the nearest conspirator. The other one turned to look at me in horror as Alistair fired a shot at Zoodle Zephyr, striking true in the small gap under the shoulder. He flinched and roared, then swiped his black flame sword to disintegrate 3 enemy soldiers before glaring at us.
Watch where you're firing,
he said and turned around. You're not going to. I cut off Alistair's corny words with a clean swipe of my sword, then approached Alistair. He turned around and aimed his gun at me, but I was ready and used to his momentum to push his arm further, the shot barely missing my earlobe. I shoved the sword through his chin, feeling as crazed as my bloody face looked. He said weakly. I let him collapse. One of his cronies fired 2 pistols at Zoodle Zephyr, and I could see the entry wounds through his armor. He turned around and saw me, his eyes red with rage. He stormed toward me when the bathrobe boy stepped in between us.
Move out of my way, Moonbeam,
he said in a hiss. Moonbeam? I'm going to be saved by a guy in a bathrobe called Moonbeam? What the f... Zoodle Zephyr grabbed him by the throat and lifted him off the floor. He kicked and thrashed and croaked out his final words. This is the only way. The man called, Moonbeam, touched the exposed part of Zoodle Zephyr's hand, and he started to spasm in place, releasing him. Protect him, Moonbeam said, then looked at the 3 dead Avenheim soldiers behind me, then back at me. Fight one last time. I didn't need to be told twice. I grabbed 2 short swords and charged the soldiers approaching Zoodle Zephyr, slashing like a man possessed. I knew I was a dead man. My life was over, one way or another. Even if I survived this, I would be a traitor. I spun around to dodge an attack and saw black flames rising up from Zoodle Zephyr. A serpentine black flame shot past me and burned the one I was fighting straight out of existence. I shouted one last time. For a second, for an eternity, I anticipated the black flames and slashed through them with my swords, which glowed in them. Glorious. I slashed and slashed and slashed. Every enemy I touched burned out of my way. The flames shot ahead of me, annihilating the army before me and aiding the allies of the city. I saw the armies disintegrating, and I saw someone talking to Lord Black and pointing at me, then at the injured Zoodle Zephyr. He raised a pistol in my direction, and I dodged his shot by running out of the city gate. "Traitor! You better run!" Lord Black shouted. "Murderers are not welcome here, especially those who kill their brothers." Another bullet chipped the stone beside me. This day couldn't be any worse. I was on the run since then.
Epilogue.
So you're the changeling from the Battle of Avenheim, I said, observing her every move. I don't trust the changelings. She looked quite harmless, but then again, she could look however she wanted. I really don't trust changelings. I am, she says. Who's asking? I'm Cecil Vilgerdarson. I was there, you know. Haven't seen you fight much, but I've heard your stories. Best to tickle her ego if I wanted her to warm up to me. And I'm Vale, she said quickly, sitting opposite me on the small round table. One hell of a day. Hear, hear, I agreed. Are you willing to help me with a small favor? Depends on the favor. She leaned in. What do you need my help with? I grinned and leaned close until I could smell her scent. Fresh morning wind. What could I ask her for? Killing someone? Nothing I couldn't do myself. Locate someone? She's as blunt as a hammer in a healer's toolkit. A job? I am in need of work. The bloodier, the better. Good, she said quickly. It's a dangerous path ahead. Bloody. I'm not squeamish. No, of course not. Get some rest. We move at first light. I'm caught by surprise at how quick things went. That easy? I'm not one for questioning blessings. Believe me, it's not a blessing, Vale said darkly. Having second thoughts. Is she challenging me? No, of course not, I said, trying to be polite. Where are we heading? She just looked over me silently for a long moment, as if to decide how much to tell a stranger she just met. Clever. You'll know when we approach it. Welcome to this suicide mission. Try not to die.
Hey everybody, Brian Von Vey here, just checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and to ring that bell to get notified whenever we post or if we end up going live on this channel. Speaking of channels, go check out our main channel, Mr. Ripper, as well as our subreddit if you'd like to submit a story like this one to us, r/Mr. Ripper. Links are in the description below. And of course, if you'd like to hear more about your gritty little narrator here, Brian Von Vey, check me out on YouTube and Twitch. Everybody out there, please stay safe, be happy, and if you need any help, make sure to go and get it no matter what kind of help that is. All the love, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.